I kind of let spirit do whatever they want. Oh, we're recording. I guess we have to be quiet now.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to day 5 of the Journey to Full-Time Spiritual Coach. If you want to call yourself a full-time energy healer, full-time spiritual coach, ascension coach, whatever that means for you. Okay. So we are going back to logistics today. So we're finishing up the second half, and then we will roll into what a full-time energy healer, spiritual coach looks like. Ooh, okay. So first we have Insta and TikTok bio. So I'm going to show y'all mine. I had like we talked about yesterday, I had a Instagram coach help me with mine. And I'll show y'all. Here we go. Okay. So in your Insta bio and your TikTok bio, when people land on your page, they need to immediately know what you're about. Like I used to have a very vague bio, like very, very, very vague. And she was telling me like, hey, people have very short attention spans, like we talked about before. And especially if you're wanting them to kind of like dig through your content and see what you're about, they need a very clear like snapshot as soon as they land on, this is what this person's about, or this is what this person can offer. So here you see Brittany Porter, Ascension Coach. Ascension Coach, I kind of went back and forth about, because I was like, oh, maybe not everybody like understands what an ascension coach is. But for me, at the place I'm in with my journey right now, I'm trying to pull in people that are a lot deeper into their spiritual awakening journey, because I shifted from teaching more introductory concepts. Like when I was teaching, like what is Reiki, what are chakras, like what is Kundalini awakening, I was more of like a spiritual awakening coach or healer beforehand. And so I intentionally use ascension coach because typically you're a little further in when you understand like certain terminology. Everybody understands, like you hear things that maybe you wouldn't have the awareness of what that is yet. So that's the reason I picked Ascension Coach. Now, if you're trying to target specific groups of beings, that might not be the right terminology for you. But I also put energy healer, because coaching and then healing, same but different, if that makes sense. Okay, so spiritual and neurodivergent down here. So it's very clear whom I am wanting to help are beings that are on a spiritual awakening journey and neurodivergent. This is where I'm saying like we need to hone down, even if you're not niching, we need to hone down what your client avatar is. Because like nothing against neurotypical people, okay? Like I like working with them too, but for the majority of the time, that's just whom I resonate with and who resonates with me, right? And so I've cultivated my program to help people with that specifically, because I help people with ADHD or autism or OCD or PTSD, which can also be a form of neurodivergence. Activate your confidence and multidimensional magic. Even that's a little vague. But again, I don't like to completely niche all the way down, because I want to help people with different things. And so, but clearly you see, I help you with confidence. I help you with your magic or your spiritual abilities, gifts. I also help people build their own spiritual businesses. So level up your spiritual business. That's either starting, growing, or if you want to get more clients, onboard more clients. Here, schedule a call. So that's a call to action. That's like, okay, we have this information. What are we going to do with that now? So we need to have clear, like, work with me, schedule a discovery call, whatever that looks like for you, and then a way for them to contact you, right? If we go over to my TikTok, TikTok does not have as many key words for you to put in there. Like it doesn't have as long of a description. So here on my name, to have more space down here, right? On my name, I put Brittany and then Ascension Coach, spiritual neurodivergent, activate your multidimensional magic, work one-on-one. So you see how they're kind of similar, but TikTok doesn't give you as much of like the words to put in there. But then we have work one-on-one and the same link tree as well. And I'll talk more about link tree if that's your first time seeing that. All right. Why is this not? Oh, I had to back out. Okay. Okay. You do not have to have 1 million followers. That was a huge like confidence and self-esteem thing when I first started of like, oh, well, I don't have 1 million followers or 100,000 followers. Or when I started, I didn't even have 10,000 followers. I didn't have 5,000 followers, right? But you don't have to. Like, I think that's a big misconception of I'm not going to get enough clients if I don't do that. That's not necessarily the case. There are a lot of content creators and things of that nature that have big, gigantic followings, but don't necessarily have the best business strategies behind that. And that's not like a dig towards anybody. That's just you can make a business out of wherever you're starting from. Like even when I only had 100 or 200 followers, like I was still doing readings for people, even though I couldn't even go live yet. Like there are things that you can do to work around not having 1 million followers yet. Like it is okay. So don't let that stop you. Or say when I get to this point, then I'll be ready, because I've fallen in that trap before and it's just simply not always the case, right? We talked about this before, lives, so people can feel your energy and your style. Most of my clients have come from watching me on live. They see me and they see my energy and they like what I have to say and they resonate and they say, oh, this person clearly knows what they're talking about. Because you watching somebody's videos, that's great. And if lives aren't your thing, that doesn't mean that you won't be successful if you don't do them. I love being in other people's lives because then you really get to see who that person is, like a core level. Anybody can say anything and project any type of way in like a static video. Okay. And that's not saying people are being like dishonest or anything, but just it's different when people are having the opportunity to interact with you and see what your style of coaching is or readings, whatever you're doing, right? Most of my clients have come from those, or they become followers. That's how I've gained so many followers on TikTok, mainly through my lives, not my actual like content. Right? Like I have lots of follows during lives because people are like, oh, I like this energy. I like how I feel in here. And we talked about setting intentions before I go live. When I remember, because this is still something that, you know, we all have to practice and keep on, is setting an intention before you do these things. Because I'm like, I want people to feel safe in here. I want people to feel loved. I want them to feel supported. I want them to feel seen and heard. Maybe this is the first time that they've ever been around people that are like them, right? So I want them to feel like they're at home. And when people come in, they're always like, I feel so nice and relaxed in here. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I set the intentional space beforehand. So there's you, but you can like the energy of your space is also malleable, if that makes sense. Learning to be vulnerable. This is a huge one. So when I first started making content, I thought that I had to like project this type of energy because I was like leading people and guiding people, and like I need to be professional, and like you need to be professional, but almost like a mask, right? And I couldn't figure out why my content wasn't taking off or resonating with people. It's because I was building like not like a facadal lens necessarily, but I wasn't really showcasing who I was at a core. And that's even something that like has made huge shifts recently in my content of saying like, I'm letting go of this capitalistic viewpoint of what even a coach needs to look like, right? People want real. They want to see the authentic you. They want to feel safe with you, and vulnerability equals safety. Because if I can be vulnerable, that means that they can be vulnerable with me, right? So the more you're vulnerable, the more comfortable they feel, and the more you can resonate with one another. Like if I'm speaking like objectively about things, that will still be helpful in some aspects. But if I'm telling people like, this is what I have been through, and these are the things that I have felt, and get in deep with them on things, they're like, oh, this person really does understand me. And this person really does, or this person can really help me, right? Practice being vulnerable. It's also very healing for yourself. Like when we were talking about yesterday of making videos for your younger self, the more vulnerable that I am in my videos, it helps my younger version of me heal, because that was a huge shadow work thing for us. We would never let anybody in. We would hold all these guards and shields and boundaries and just keep everybody at an arm's length. You being vulnerable with yourself is like the most healing. Like other people, that's great, but like you being vulnerable for you and then posting a video and hopefully it helps other people, it's extremely healing for your inner child and your teenage self and your younger self. So content is not only healing for other people, you watch yourself back and you heal yourself at the same time. Like there have been so many videos that I've made that I can feel my inner child and my inner teen releasing trauma because I'm showing up and talking to them and saying like, hey, it's okay that we went through these things and I love you and I'm supporting you. And now we can take what we've learned and help somebody else, but it's helping them heal at the same time. Okay, now we're getting into the logistics, the nitty gritty of things. Okay. So we need to have a calendar system. It is so much easier because when I first started, I didn't really have a calendar system. I was just like talking to people on Instagram, right? Before I got real bigger on TikTok, talking to people on Instagram, trying to figure out like when our times coordinate. And it's just, it takes a lot of time and energy to do it that way. I highly recommend getting some type of calendar system. I use Acuity scheduling. I found that is the easiest to integrate into my website. It's very, very user friendly. It has so many options and you can actually book services through it too. It's not just a calendar system. You can take payments. You can write out descriptions of everything that you offer. It's kind of like its own website. Now I've kind of upgraded to a website, but when I first started out, Acuity did everything that I needed. So if you're starting like kind of newer into your journey and you're not ready to build a website yet, or that sounds very scary and intimidating, again, don't let things stop you because you're like, oh, well, a website's going to take me 6 months to build. Not that it would take you 6 months, but when I built my website, it was a lot. Okay, this is kind of a workaround. It's $15 a month, right? For their like basic whatever. And I rocked with that for a long time and it served me well. But it's way easier to have a link that you can share with somebody and just be like, here's my scheduler, my calendar, and take a payment through it than trying to give them your PayPal and your Venmo and your Zelle and then figure out a time and coordinate all those things. Calendly is another thing that people love. I don't like it as much just because it's not to me as user friendly, but that might just be the user. Okay, everybody functions differently, but the top two that I have seen people use the most is Acuity and Calendly. And there's a lot of other ones too that are probably great and work well. These are the top two that I've seen. And you might like Calendly better, but it's much easier than trying to just coordinate with 10 different people and take payments 10 different ways. Acuity works with Square payments. Excuse me, I'm not sure what Calendly works with. Maybe somebody in the chat, if you use Calendly, you can say. All right. Terms and conditions. So we need to do some type of protection of self. Like I have terms and conditions. If y'all want to check out my website, like feel free. Like go on my website, click on, whatever type of session, like a soul alignment session, and then read my terms and conditions. Like take it if you want. Like you can copy it word for word if you want, but like fill in what you need, okay? Because what I did is like, I don't know what to put in my terms and conditions. And so I checked out a whole bunch of other people's websites, saw the correlations, added what I needed into it, and then rolled it into my scheduler. And so mine says like, hey, we both reserve the right to cancel right beforehand. I know life comes up. And I talk about refunds and I talk about how energy healing is not licensed therapy. I am not a medical doctor. What you choose to do with this information is of your own accord. And it goes more in depth than that. Those are just like the key points, but feel free to go on mine and look, or go on other people's and look. But we need to do something that's like protecting us, saying like, we are not a licensed medical doctor. You also probably need to look up per your state, because states differ, of what you're liable for and what you're not, depending on what your terms and conditions are. Because I don't want to tell you like, hey, just take mine, or look around at websites and then you're in the clear. We need to look up what state we're in and how that applies, right? Okay. I linked to my Calendly with my PayPal. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And like I said, some people like Calendly, and that's cool. Acuity can seem very overwhelming when you first get in there, because there's a million different options. Calendly is a little bit easier in the upfront, but I just watched YouTube videos until I figured Acuity out. Like I just watched like 6 or 7 videos and I was like, okay. Come on. Okay, website. I'm going to show y'all my website, because I had a person who is an expert in websites and I took her webinar and her seminar, and not saying this is how you need to do your website. I'm going to talk about key points of a website. Okay, so not comparison. This is just what I'm doing and what I heard from other people and doing my research on other websites and other life coaches and things of that nature. I needed a new way to set up appointments. Thank you. Going to try Calendly. Awesome. And maybe some of y'all together can figure it out too, because I know there's some people in here as well, obviously, that use Calendly, so y'all can reach out to one another. Now, come on. Here we go. Okay. So I use Wix. Is there a lag? Okay. I use Wix. Wix was easiest for me. It's very user friendly. I tried Square. Everybody has a different style and way of doing things, so you got to find one for you. This is a Wix website though. It has like a drag and drop and they give you like templates to start. Okay, so this is my home page. You can see here, all I have up top is home and about. The main point of this, if you have 90 things on your web page, people get overwhelmed and they get confused. And that's how mine was originally set up. And the person I spoke to was like, you need to have very clear, this is what I do, this is what I can help you with, and this is how you can book. That's it. I'm not saying you have to do this, but that's where my basis point is. And it's been very beneficial for me. I go and for me on a personal level, I'll go check out other people's websites for different various things. If they have a million different things on their website, I get overwhelmed. I don't know if that is the neurodivergence and like it's too much information to take on. But when I go to somebody's website and it's just very short and sweet and concise, that is what I'm looking for. Because also I don't have enough time and energy just to be reading through all this stuff. And a lot of times we put like filler things, right? Or like we're coming from this is how I got all these certifications, and this is how I did this, and this is how I did that. When we talked about before, people don't want to know about that. We're not selling them the plane ride, we're selling them the destination. They just want to know, who are you? Why can you help me with this? How can you help me with this? How can I set it up? Okay, so I have my socials up here. Very easy for people to go follow me. Picture me. What do I help people with? Immediately you come on the page, spiritual and neurodivergent. If you don't fall under that, saves you a lot of time and energy. You just move on. I help you build confidence in life and business, gain clarity and direction to achieve goals, activate your multidimensional magic. I'm about to change this because I'm always shifting. But you can see very clearly, these are the things I help you with. Now I get into it in more detail down here at the bottom. This is just like a quick snapshot. Also, what I'm about to do is sometimes people don't want to book a discovery call with you, and we'll get into that too, because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen in a discovery call. Like, are they going to try and like sell me something? And like, ultimately that's what you're trying to do in a discovery call, but not always. Sometimes discovery calls are about you up-leveling your skills and your communication, or, you know, just generally helping somebody. Like I've had lots of discovery calls where they didn't go through to like a program, but I'm so glad that I was able to help that person, you know, like on their journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a video underneath here, and I'm going to explain what a discovery call is. Like just short, sweet, like, hey, we get on a Zoom call, Zoom video. We talk about your life and what's going on and whatever. If you want to see what the video is going to kind of look like, I just made a TikTok, and it says breakthrough. Are you ready for a breakthrough? And I explain what a discovery call is, but we'll talk about it more here. So I'm going to put that so people can click. Okay, meet Brittany Porter. This is a very short synopsis of who I am and why I decided to do this. Okay, and then y'all can go back and read that if you like. Feel free to do whatever you want. You want to copy this? Do it. Like, it's fine. Read more. So if they want to read more about my personal life and how I got into these things, I'll show you all that page. But if they want to dive deeper, they have an option, but we're not going to overwhelm them on the homepage. Ways we can work together. I don't go super in depth on the first page because you might be looking for two different things. My 3-month coaching program, I have this program provides you with long-term guidance. Okay, they can click there if they want to learn more. Soul alignment sessions, these are individual sessions. This is for, if you see down here in the description, specific chapters in your life, long-term, short-term. Okay, we're going to get into this more in a minute, but this is a free download that people can get, the masterclass we're doing right now. But subscribe to watch the replay of how to become a full-time spiritual coach. And that's my homepage. Now, if we click read more, this is where I get into why I'm doing what I'm doing and what my background is in. Like, I help people with anxiety and depression, eating disorder, OCD, because those are things that I went through. And then I talk about how my spiritual awakening journey, and I talk about how I got myself out of there, out of those spaces and places. And then down here, I talk about how I became an Akashic record reader, Reiki practitioner, light language channeler, quantum healer, ascension coach. So you know all of the things that I'm offering here. Now, if we go back, we click on Soul Expansion Coaching Program. Okay, so up here we have what I offer as a snapshot. Here, this is feeling stuck, not sure what steps to take. So this is the problems that people have. And I was problems. These are things that people need support with. Okay, are you working through self-limiting beliefs? Need help focusing and following through? That's for my ADHD people. Healing generational trauma. That's where I help you with your inner child. Ready to get out of the void space. That's when you're in a tower moment and you need to do some reality shifting. So I'm speaking on, these are the solution. I mean, these are the things that I can help you with, right? Then we come down here. This is my areas of expertise. So this is a very short synopsis snapshot of, these are the things, like my quote unquote, not certifications necessarily, but these are things that I focus on with people: Reiki, light body upgrades, Akashic record readings, inner child healing, because people don't need the whole story. You can talk to them about that in your discovery call when you get them on there. Over here on the left, we're talking about how to get more information about the program. They can book a discovery call down here. And you can see here, I have 3-month personal coaching program. This is what they can expect: build confidence and self-esteem, experience less burnout, have clear direction on how to move forward, launch or grow your spiritual business. Over here, I have expectations of them. Do the soul work even when it gets hard. Take your power back from self-limiting beliefs. Build love and self-trust with your inner child. Very clear, this is what I'm helping you with. And this is what you're going to experience. Down here, I have some reviews, which I'm going to put new ones on there soon. But this is like clear little snapshots. If you put a page, nobody's going to read that. People have very short attention spans. You need to have very short quotes you can just put up there and people can read them really quickly. Or have a whole nother page with reviews that people can go to. Okay, ready to begin. This is how you can get started with this discovery program. Okay. 1, book a discovery call. 2, unlock your confidence. I'll teach you or show you a path for your personal program. And we're going to get into discovery calls. Okay. Life on a whole new level. I'll help you figure out how to achieve your goals. And then I have another free offer down here at the bottom. This is a coaching replay that I did. Okay. And I'm going to show you all the individual sessions in case that's something that you're still like in right now, doing individual sessions. Okay, soul alignment sessions. So this is if they need help getting to the next stage, but they don't necessarily need help for 3 months. Or maybe they will in the future. I've had a lot of people who get individual sessions that come back and say like, oh, I think I need some longer term support. So these individual sessions provide connection to your Akashic Records, higher self, oversoul, and guide team. Here I have you gain understanding with and list out the things. And in these sessions you can experience, and that's where I talk about the plane ride. I talk about the destination first, and then the plane ride of how you're going to get there. And all of the areas of expertise I have. Expertise. Okay, now if you do a Wix website, you have to do a completely different mobile website. Like the mobile formatting is completely different than the home page. Like it'll kind of push everything over to the mobile, but you're going to have to readjust everything because it's a completely different format. So I want to give you a heads up on that beforehand. So website and phone different. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about website before I move on? I'm always changing my page. I'm always wondering if it was too complex. Go on somebody, if you're worried about, is your website too complex? Find another person's website that kind of looks like your website and read it and see if you get overwhelmed by it. I've done that before, where like I go on other people's and I'm like, what is it about this person's website that's very easy to read and that has drawn me in and pay attention, and not copycat necessarily, but what is it about this that I like? Okay, so no questions, so we will move on. Okay. But y'all see where it's just very clear and concise, not overwhelming. This is just, this is what it is. And if you want to know more, you can schedule. I've used WordPress sites for the longest. Wix has come a long way. Yeah, I've heard WordPress. Yeah, thank you, Lucy. WordPress is really good as well. And I integrated my Acuity into my Wix website. I still use Acuity for my booking and my scheduling because I like it better. And I take payments through Acuity still. Okay, so email marketing. We need to be capturing people's emails because not everybody is ready. Like people get into your world deeper and deeper and deeper. Like that's the journey. Like we want to have new people come to our content and start watching it, right? That's one level. Then we want to have people like commenting on our stuff so we can engage with them. That's why I told y'all before, like let's have like preparatory questions in our videos that we're making, or ways to engage. That's bringing people in deeper, because you got to build trust with people. Some people are just ready to sign up with you. Other people are like, let me keep on seeing this person like pop up and make sure that they're good to work with, right? Or maybe they haven't heard something for you yet that connects you on that level. So we're commenting with people. Now we need to get to having their email, because that is giving you more opportunities to email people like, hey, I'm doing this workshop. Hey, I'm doing this live. Hey, here's a free offer, so you can get to know me better. And it's a way for you just to connect on a deeper level. Now, when we're in the email marketing and you're pushing people to, not pushing people, but you're getting people in your workshops and your lives, and like they feel that deeper sense of community and accessibility to you, right? And you can just do so much more with people when you have their emails. How do you get their emails? What I have found best is doing some type of free content and offering that for subscription. So y'all saw on my website where I have for this masterclass, or I had for the coaching thing. I've done a lot of other things too, like inner child healing, procrastination workshops. So that way people can keep on getting to know you, but you help pull them in deeper with the more things that you send them. Free offer of value. So we need to have something like that to offer people. It can be a meditation. It can be a workshop that you do. It can be an event that's coming up. Just something where they're diving in deeper with you. That looks different for everybody, what you offer and what you do. MailChimp is what I use for my email. Very easy, very, very, very user-friendly. And I actually integrated it with my Wix website. Very, very easy. And I just capture people's emails through there, and then I can send out a mass email to a lot of people at one time. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about email marketing, free offer of value before I move on? And like I said, the offer could be anything you'd like. I have a question that just popped up in regards to the website. Okay, Tammy. What is your question? Do you put your courses on your website? I have not yet. That is the next step. That's the next step. I have finally gotten to, Wix does have, you can put your courses on Wix. You can definitely do that. I don't have right now a whole lot of like self-based courses. Like I do more like workshops, but I am about to put a course together to put on my Wix. So you can. You can definitely integrate that in, kind of like Kajabi. I know Kajabi is really good for running courses on, but Wix, you can do that too. All right. Zoom recordings. It's very beneficial to get a Zoom account like here and do your sessions or your readings, because Zoom is the easiest one that I have found to record. And if somebody else has like one that you utilize, and please feel free to use in the chat or share in the chat. But Zoom, I think it's $15 a month, and you can have like up to 50 people in the Zoom with you. There's a free Zoom if your sessions go up to 40 minutes. So if you keep sessions 40 minutes, you're good. But if you want anything past 40 minutes, you get Zoom Pro, $14.99. You can have up to 40 people if you want to run workshops. It records everything for you. You can record it to your computer. You can record it to the Zoom cloud if you want to, if you don't want to take up room on there. Very, very easy. People like having a recording. Now, some people do, readings and type things up. This masterclass is for like, hey, we're trying to work towards a full-time spiritual coaching business. People like being able to go back and review, because when I'm doing sessions with people, sometimes I'm talking super fast. And we're doing a lot of like perception awareness, and like, how sometimes when you're in the session and everything's like making sense and downloading in, and you're like, yeah. But then when you leave, it's like I don't remember all the ins and outs and the things that we talked about, especially when I'm talking about ADHD and building structures and organizing and doing all these things. People want to be able to go back and rewatch them or re-listen to them. Okay. Yes, I've always recorded, because sometimes you take so much in that you don't completely hear it all. Yes, exactly, Karen. Yes, it happens to me. I love recordings. Yeah, it's like it's a really great thing to offer people to record everything. I also I pull oracle cards every time I do sessions for people, and I build crystal grids for them. Excuse me. So I'll send them the Zoom recording. I'll send them their pictures. Like people really appreciate that, because not everybody has like a super memory. So I found people really appreciate it. But if it, like I said, like some of those things you have to invest in self. You're like, oh, $15, like, but like it's a premium service you're offering somebody. And when you're having a coaching program is a premium service for people. Okay, filing system. If you are running a coaching program where you are working with someone, whether it's for 4 weeks or it's 6 weeks or it's 8 weeks or it's 12 weeks, 6 months, whatever you're doing, you need some type of filing system where you're taking notes every single session, because they build and layer on top of one another. Like what we talk about in week 1 is going to impact what we talk about in week 2. Sometimes I get way further with someone in a session and sometimes not. And I need to remember what we talked about in week 1 when I'm on week 7 to see the growth, right? So if you have, this is me in the beginning, I was not organized at all. Not organized. I would have papers everywhere and trying to scramble around, and it caused a lot of anxiety and all this stuff. Do it in Google Docs. Keep a running, if you want a computer, running doc on that person. Or I like having paper. I have a notebook, and all of my clients and their weekly sessions are in this notebook. If you try and do an 8-week coaching program and you're trying to remember from week 1 or week 2 or what week 3 what you talked about, especially when you have multiple clients, that's not showing up for them in your best capacity. Organization is fundamentally key. If you are, the coaching is a luxury for people because not everybody has that financial wherewithal, right? It's a luxury thing. You need to be showing up on that level, if that makes sense. Like we can't be messy and unorganized and not, keeping good track of your growth progress with somebody. It's different than just like an individual session. Okay, filing system, super important for your own sake, because you want to feel very confident when you are speaking to someone. And if you are keeping track of all the things that y'all have talked about and the progress and the growth you've been making, you can show up very prepared and not have all that kind of like anxiety that comes up. Dropbox. So Dropbox has been very beneficial if you want to have a running document with your clients. Like I've done this, not everybody has a Gmail. And if somebody doesn't have a Gmail account, it's very hard for them to see a Google Doc. Like I've run into that multiple times. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work well. So Dropbox is a website where you both can log in, right, and see the document. So like I'll build people like Wheel of Life, or self-care programs, things that they need to type in like homework or check-ins. So they go in with their link, type up their stuff. We can even be on it at the same time. And us both be typing and looking at it. And so it's just like a living, breathing document that you can both do together. Very, very, very helpful. But if you try and do Google Docs with people, they don't have a Gmail, not great. Okay, OneDrive is good too if you already have Office 360. Awesome, Lucy. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Memories be yes, with our long Dropbox. Okay, Linktree. So let me show y'all Linktree. You don't have to do Linktree. There's a whole bunch of different websites that will do this for you. I use Linktree. So if y'all see here, okay, Linktree down here. If you click on this, yes, I want to go. Okay, if you click on my Linktree, I have a greeting up at the top. Linktree is a way for you to put all your different things in one place. And I really like this because if I'm doing something like a workshop or I want to send people to a specific YouTube video, right? Sometimes it's a lot easier for people to access it this way instead of like combing through your website trying to find what they want and what they need. And so that's why I have a Linktree instead of just sending people straight to my website. Now I have seen other coaches and other, life coaches, spiritual coaches say you need to have people going directly to your website. That's not the vibe for me. I like being able to have different things in different areas. So I have discovery call up top, website, they go to the same place, but maybe you're looking for something different. Join the Discord. That's my community, my chat community. Free workshop, how to become a full-time spiritual coach. So if you click on that, it takes you to my website, but it takes you to a different area of my website. And then down here, I have all my socials. This has been very beneficial. This is also in my Instagram. I have my link tree, because not everybody is ready to go deeper in your community and go on your website. But do they want to sign up for a free masterclass or a free workshop? And then I have your email, and now you're a little bit deeper in my community. And then I can send you out like, hey, maybe you want to attend this. Maybe you want to try that. Maybe you want to hear talk about this. Pulling people in deeper so they trust you more and they feel safe with your energy and they resonate with you. Okay. I'm just going, oh, yay, 1144. You can also make a page like that within your website. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Lucy. I'm going to check that out. I'll talk to you about it on the side and see if you don't mind. All right. Oh, also, if you have a link tree that has a million different things in it, I used to do that. I used to have, here are a gajillion different things I offer and all these free things and all this stuff. Again, simplicity is key. People need to come on very clearly, see what it is. I used to have like 16 different links in my link tree. And I had somebody review it for me and they were like, this is so chaotic. So chaotic. When people come on here, especially if they have ADHD, they get overwhelmed very easily. We need to simplify this. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And I'm not saying not to have, what you need in your link tree, but just go on other people's link trees. When she said that to me, I went and looked at other people's link trees and I understood what she was saying, because I would go on and they would have 20 different links and I would be like, whoa. But you're looking through your perception. You're not looking through your client's perception. I'd be like, this is too much. I can't get a handle on what's going on here, or I don't know what to go to because there's just so much on here. I'm going to check my messages really quick if you don't mind, because my son, give me 1 second. Okay. All right. 5 to 7 is good. Otherwise, there's too many options. That's something that she said too, Lucy, which is a really good point. If you give people too many options, they get overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. It's like, what do I do here? So a few is better. Okay, Canva. Canva has been my very best friend because I don't have a degree in marketing or graphic design. And so like Canva takes so much time out of trying to build something from scratch. They have like thousands and thousands of templates and fonts, and just, you can do almost anything in Canva. Okay. I used to work at this nonprofit, and everybody used to give praises to my coworker, and like, how do you know how to do all this? Like, you're such a good graphic designer. And she told me, she was like, can I tell you a secret? And I was like, what? And she was like, I use Canva and I do all these things. And I was like, that's hilarious. Canva, I think, is $12.99 for the pro. You should get the pro. I started out with the basic and it was better. Pro gives you access to like a million other things. Like it will do so much for you. So everybody was asking before how I do my cover art for my Instagram. Let me go down so y'all can see. We talked about this yesterday, where we need cover photos on everything to tell people like what these are about. Okay. So in Canva, you can see how I have all these templates that I've done, like all these different things, right? I have this one that I utilize for all of my cover photos. I always go back to it. And what I do is I just change out the picture. This is an Instagram square. It's to the dimensions of an Insta square. All I do is I just change out this picture over here in uploads. I just upload it from, Canva is very phone friendly too. Very phone and tablet friendly. Like you don't have to do it on the computer. So I upload, I download on Snaptic, how we talked about yesterday. I take the TikTok video, I download it to my phone or my computer or my device. I take a screenshot of my face in the video. I upload it to Canva. This little square here stays in the exact same spot all the time. So I don't have to try and reformat. And then I just change out the text. Very easy. There are a million other editing things that you can do Insta cover photos with. This is just how I do it because I use Canva for other things as well. Here, where it says ADHD Bs, when we were talking about yesterday how you need to have very clear, this is what this video is about on the cover photo, because otherwise people just don't click on it. Here, where it says ADHD Bs, that's not very clear what that's about, right? But it's an incentive for people to click on it because it's like, ooh, what are ADHD Bs? So it either needs to be very clear what it is, or it's like an incentive to click on it, right? Like, what are ADHD Bs? But you still know it's about ADHD. So even then it's still tailored to my client avatar. But Canva is awesome. Like I'm telling y'all, you can also resize anything that you make. Like if you make a YouTube thumbnail or an Insta post, you can resize it to go on any other type of social media. It's amazing. You can make presentations, you can make videos on here, you can do video editing. Like they have thousands of templates available. Like it's spectacular. Okay, yes. Highly, highly recommend. Right. I wish I had known that earlier. Like I wish I had known that way earlier. It would have saved me a lot of time and energy. Okay. Healing resources email list. So when we talk about pulling people deeper into our world, this is something that I have found is very beneficial. Like maybe somebody is not ready to sign up for you, even an individual sign up with you, either an individual or a coaching program, but you still want to help them on their journey because we're helpers. Okay. You still want to help them. Maybe you help them right now, and then later down the road, they come back and they sign up with you. I love being able to help people in some capacity, whether they sign up with me or not. Okay. So something that I did, whatever your client avatar is, okay. And if you need more info on that, that's in a previous one. Whatever your client avatar is, put an email list together of resources that would be beneficial for them that you can send to them very easily, that you don't have to like put something together. And you can adjust it if you need. Like don't make it like so specific, like just send it to them if it doesn't apply some of the things, but find some things that you have watched and you've seen that would be helpful for them on their journey. Okay, and I'll show you all mine. Okay, so for anonymity, the person's name's not in here. So I say, hey, blank, excuse me, it was nice talking to you on TikTok. It was nice talking to you on Instagram. Here are the resources that I mentioned that can help you on your journey. If you want to take these with you, and if you need extra support, I'm here. This also shows that you like care, and you do. Like you genuinely care. Like when somebody's like, can you please help me? And they don't have like maybe the financial wherewithal, or it's not the time or the place, you can still send them with something, right? And that's still so beneficial for both of you. So I have all of these healing videos, and they're all YouTube videos. Some of them are mine, some of them are other people's. I do suggest putting your own stuff in here eventually. I didn't have really anything when I first started out of my own. I was just making content like short form, but now I have longer form. So then they can get deeper and be like, oh yeah, I really like her energy. I have mindset videos. I have them all ready for you. And then I have my email signature. This is an old email of mine. Y'all saw a different one yesterday. And then all these different videos. I have different ones. I have, if you want to learn about the Akashic records and soul contracts and chakras, I have a whole nother email list for that. If you want to learn more about ADHD, I have a whole nother list for that. I have these preset emails that I can send to people. And sometimes I change out the links if somebody needs something that's not on here. Okay. And that's because it's easy to fall into the YouTube rabbit hole without guidance. The thing about you, yeah, Lucy, and thank you, Lucy. The thing about YouTube is you know how there's a universal algorithm? Like there are things that I see come up on my YouTube that I've cultivated the algorithm to bring me that I would have never seen like 3 years ago when I first started. Because like it cultivates towards you, right? So if somebody's just starting out on their spiritual awakening journey, they're going to get smacked in the face with a whole bunch of stuff that they probably don't need for their journey. Or it's like, you'll know what I'm saying? You have a cultivated YouTube and TikTok algorithm because you've been doing this for longer. So if you're a spiritual awakening coach, you can save somebody a lot of time and energy, like Lucy is saying, of like stuff that they don't need, where you can give them some concepts that they haven't seen before, because what you're getting is different from what they're getting, right? Like sometimes we get so on the same level and just pulling that stuff in. We need something that's more advanced to grow. I want you to forward that email to me. Thanks. Diane, I'll forward it to you if you want. Let me write it down so I remember. A lot of good stuff. Okay, now this is something that I wish I had done earlier in my journey. Okay. It has been so, I cannot recommend this enough. Please, 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 please do this, because it will save you later on. Okay. So YouTube, I'm sure all of y'all or whoever's watching this in the future, you be on some YouTube, watching TED Talks, watching confidence, self-esteem, psychology, life coaching, just like constantly taking in content. Save that in playlists. Look here. You'll see chakra and finances, memory, energy readings, angels, chakras, intuition, imposter syndrome, crystals, shadow work, quantum shifting, earth star chakra, throat chakra. It goes on. Look, see, empath empowerment. I save all the videos I watch that I'm like, I could use this with a client. I could use this as a resource for somebody. Like if I really thoroughly enjoy it and I'm like, this would be great for somebody, I save it in my playlist. And so that way I can build these email lists. That is how I did this. I just go back through my playlists and say, here's one for confidence. Here's one for, you know, whatever that person's working with. It has saved me so much time and energy. And then I'll take time to like clear out the things that I don't think are beneficial anymore and then add new ones in. Because your client avatar changes over time. Like when I first started, I was a spiritual awakening coach. So I was helping people when it first started on their journey. Now I help people like teaching them how to access like different dimensions and frequencies and like just different concepts. So I have to clean out my old playlists and put in like new stuff that fits my client avatar, right? But I still keep some things because I'll meet people that are just now starting their spiritual awakening journey. I'm like, I'm not the one to help you, but here's some resources that can help you. All right. I mean, I'm gonna have to start saving my YouTube videos. Do it now. It is so beneficial. I save TikToks in my TikTok. Hold on, I'll show you. So I don't know if it's gonna show up on here. We'll see. Okay. Do y'all know how you can make collections on TikTok where you can like save videos under like a collection of things? I do that for clients too. If I come up for something about human design or confidence or money manifesting or your chakras or intuition, I save it in a collection and then I can send it to my clients or I can include it on that email list. Think about future you and your business. But okay, I'm sorry. I'm still having to check my phone for my son. 1 second. Oh, good some leader. Okay. All right. All right, so this is my 3-month coaching program. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so when you're doing discovery calls with people, we are pitching them at the end. We are helping them have some type of realization. Like in a discovery call, anytime I have a discovery call with someone, it's not my first intention to help them or to get them to sign up. Like if that happens, I love that. But sometimes that person is not meant for me to help them, or I'm not the person for them. But I always want them to go away from that with having some type of new realization or some type of breakthrough, right? So if we come from that space, we let go of the outcomes, because sometimes it's not always about you signing somebody. Okay. Sometimes when you're first starting out, it's about you building communicative skills and you learning how to be self-confident and self-assured, because that used to take me down very quickly in the beginning of somebody's not signing with me. So obviously that means I'm doing something wrong. That's not always what it's about. Sometimes is you learning how to be a leader and how you're even going to build your coaching program, because maybe you haven't put that together yet. This is client avatar market research. This is you getting on the phone with people and figuring out what people actually need from you or what you can help them with. So if you are booking discovery calls, and I'm going to talk about those a little more in a minute, but if you are booking discovery calls and they're not following through, don't take that as a personal hit. Maybe you can make adjustments. Maybe you're in a phase where you're understanding who you want your client to be or how you're going to build your program. But it's not always like, don't take that as a personal attack. Take it as, this is a growth opportunity for me to understand myself better and understand my client better. And sometimes I'll have a discovery call with somebody and I hear back from them 6 months later and they're like, I'm ready to sign. Like, take the weight off of it. I'm here to help this human being. I'm here to support them. Now, do we need to make money and pay our bills? Yes. But I want you to see the grand scope. I want you to see that just because something doesn't work out in that very second does not mean that you won't see them again, or you didn't help somebody on their journey, right? I want that person to have a better understanding of themselves when they leave, okay? Or when they get off the call. Okay, yeah, you plant seeds of connection, absolutely. Okay. Oh, you don't need to answer the message I sent this morning, you already did. Okay, Carrie. I'll take a look at it anyway, though. Okay, so I just went from 8 weeks. Some of y'all know I was doing 8-week programs to doing 3-month coaching programs, because the things that I'm helping people with, like I want to have a deeper and longer connection with, so I can see more of the growth, and it'll help me with my growth as well. So my 3-month coaching program, this is what I help people with. And not that you need to do this, but it might be beneficial for you to see. Or if you want to sign up for one, it's available for you as well. So, an outsider perspective. So I used to help people that were more in their own individual journey, spiritual awakening journey. Like I worked a lot with people in shadow work and trauma healing, and I still do that, but I help people that want to help other people now. Like I help healers and coaches, like I am now with everyone in the masterclass, learn how to do this full time or to grow their practice or outsider perspective. Sometimes you're so intermeshed into your own reality bubble, you cannot see your blind spots. I'm about to hire a coach for myself because I have reached a level where I can't see what I might be missing. That's because you're just too intermeshed into it. And so you need a fresh set of eyes, and you need somebody that is a little further along than you to see it. Because if I'm talking peer to peer, with somebody who is rocking on that same level, we might be able to bounce some ideas around together, but our levels of understanding are kind of similar. So we're not going to see each other's blind spots always. And so I need a fresh set of eyes with somebody that's been doing it longer and has more answers, right? And that goes for personal level too, like your behavioral patterns and triggers. And if you're experiencing a lot of chaos in your life, or like you don't have good structures in life, you don't always see how things are correlated to one another. And sometimes it helps to have an expert in that area and be like, oh, this inner child stuff is what's causing people pleasing, or you not getting the raise that you want, or you staying stuck in a 9 to 5 you don't want to be doing. Like, you need somebody that can help show you the web of connectivity to help get to the root of those things. Assistance in building programs. I can tell you all day long this stuff. Okay, like in this masterclass. Are you going to do it? Maybe. It's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I was telling everyone, like, don't get overwhelmed by these things that I'm sharing, because it took me a long time to do them, right? I've had a lot of time. Some people don't want to take that time and energy, and they're like, can you just help me, hold my hand, guide me, give me the answers, and then I'll be done. So if you're in that space of life, that's where I come in and I say, I will guide you the whole way through. And then we can do it a lot quicker. Or I'm there to answer these questions along the way, so you don't feel like you're like a fish flopping around, right? Or maybe I catch something that you're missing, or I can help you build something. Like, you want to run a workshop, you want to like learn how to outline your discovery call, you want to learn how to be better at sales. That's where a coach comes in. And they can help you with those things. So if you are in the phase right now where you are a full-time energy healer, or you are a spiritual coach, you're eventually going to get to this place as well, where you are helping other coaches and other healers. Like, you might still be helping individual people, but there will become a time where you become the master of doing these things, and then you help other energy healers and coaches with their practices. Because a lot of us are helping people make this collective shift, but then we're going to help people that have been in the journey for a while, and then they want to do the same thing for others. So we're all kind of like moving up together. I'm going to check the chat before I keep going. Okay. I'm curious if you have a therapist or psychology degree or certificate. I want to see if the insurance company will pay for your expertise. I am not a licensed therapist. I have a background in psychology. That's what I went to my undergrad for, but I do not have a therapist certification. So that's the thing about coaching being a luxury. Most life coaches and most spiritual coaches don't have those licensed therapy certifications. And so it's a luxury thing for people, right? So that's why you have to show up on that level too. And you have to be very confident in what you do and what you offer. And like explain that to people, as far as like, this is what I can do for you. It is vitally important. And sometimes people have to come out of pocket for those things. But it's like, how much time and energy do I save? Or how much time and energy do I have to figure these things out for myself? Or, all those different dynamics. Okay, we already do, but now that hit standpoint, maybe we should change the system. Oh, I definitely agree with you. Yeah, I definitely think like life coaches and things of that nature should be classified under insurance billable things, especially because life coaches and spiritual coaches are so tailored to that person's experience, because 9 times out of 10 you're helping people with things that you went through, instead of like a broad general healing style. All right. Onboard more clients. So that's my intention with these programs, is to help you get more clients. Because if you aren't in that space, it's kind of hard. Like, if you don't understand what a client avatar is and how all of these things interconnect and weave with one another, I have been in that place where I'm like crying on the bathroom floor, trying to figure out where the gaps are. Like, everything interconnects. And if you're off in one area, it causes disruptions in the other areas. Now, I don't want to say this in a way that makes you feel disempowered, because you can figure it out. You can. You got to put the time and energy into it and look at many different resources and many different things. That's why I did this coaching masterclass. So if you can run through all these things and say, where am I not meeting where I need to be? And then you can do your own research on those things if that's what you need to do on your own. But it takes a lot of time and energy to do those things, but you can do it. and I keep saying that because I'm going to get to a story that I'm going to tell you all about. Okay. ADHD, organized chaos. So I help people that are neurodivergent because that's the main thing, is focus and motivation, because our energy levels are just like all over the place, and it causes a lot of chaos, and it's hard to stay organized, and it's hard to keep on structures and routines. And so that's what I help teach you, because most of the time we're living in a very neurotypical world around us, and it's not built for neurodivergent people. And so we're taught to live a certain way and do things a certain way, but there's much more optimal ways of doing things. You just don't hear about it as much. Like if you're not way deep down into like ADHD management, it's very chaotic trying to figure out how to get your life more organized. But if you go see an expert about it, or you spend time and energy researching those things, even if it's just for yourself, for your personal, it helps you so much understand yourself and that you are different, and that's okay. ADHD is a blessing if you learn how to have organized chaos instead of just chaos. So I help you learn how to get more focused, more motivated, and how to work within structures that work for you. I teach you about dopamine regulation. That's a huge thing, even for your own self. Learning how to regulate your dopamine and your serotonin levels and what that means. Structures to keep you on track. That's what we talked about before with like bullet lists, self-care, wheel of life, all of those things that help you stay on track, but you don't get burnout and bored with, because that's ADHD. We do something for like a week and then we're like, okay, well, that was great. Now what? And then you got to implement something else to keep the dopamine levels up. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second. Still working on the focus part. Okay. I'm all about self-love and spending money on bettering myself. Me too. I wish neuropathic medicine was also covered versus only Western medicine. Yep. Well, you know, that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing right now. Like, it's not like that right now, but maybe it will be one day. And us showing up to these spaces together and learning these things, maybe it's us that make that push for these things to be covered by insurance to help more people. So don't let that disempower you either. It might happen if we all keep going. Okay. So those are some of the things I help with, but it goes beyond that. This is why I like to do whole holistic type of healing, because I help you bring more structures and figure out how to do your healing in life, or figure out how to be more organized in life, and how to build your websites and how to do all these things. But if you're not looking at the foundational things within people, like I can teach you how to build a website. I can teach you how to do a discovery call. I can teach you how to do all these things. But if you are not doing great in your confidence and your self-esteem and your self-worth, and that stuff comes from childhood, it's going to be a rocky road. That is the stuff that has to be looked at. When I do these programs with people, that's what we do first. I don't even get into all that nitty-gritty stuff with people. I'm like, we have to heal the root things in the very beginning. Otherwise, it skews your perception and it causes things not to run smoothly. You can get on discovery calls with people all day, but if you don't think you're worth what you are, fundamentally, you won't book that person, because they can feel it. They feel that you're not confident in yourself and your abilities. Why are you not confident in your abilities? Probably with something with childhood, generational trauma, or you were in an abusive relationship. Well, then logically, those things need to be looked at first. So my coaching programs, we go in and do that fundamental healing first, and then we get into the other stuff, because that stuff is easy once you have the root more healed. And so healing. Generational trauma. Love helping with generational trauma. I help you with your money beliefs because that's a huge one for energy healers and coaches of like, I don't feel like I have enough abilities or they're not great enough, or like, who am I to charge somebody this much? Like those are all fundamental self-limiting beliefs that are like running in the background that are changing your decisions and the content you make. Right? Like, so that's why I'm saying like energetics of things, day one, all those things we talked about, those are the most important. This stuff comes last. All of this logistic stuff. We have to, like with me, I had so much lack mentality that it was causing massive disruptions in all areas of my business. So my spirit guides, my higher self was like, we're gonna put a pause on everything until you do a deeper dive here. Because none of that stuff matters until you heal this stuff. Inner child past versions. I help people go back and release trauma from those childhood things so that you stop having those behavioral patterns and those triggers and those self-limiting beliefs. I help you expand your spiritual abilities. So this is where I help you perceive into different dimensions. I help you learn how to frequency read people on a deeper level, how to open up your chakras at a greater capacity, how to expand your light body. So that way you take those skills that you learn and apply them to your clients as well. Help you with your channeling abilities. Step into your confidence and power. I'm like, I can do this, right? It's basically holding your hands while you're holding other people's hands. Leading and guiding you while you're leading and guiding others, and it constantly pulling you up. And that's why I'm getting a coach for myself too, so that coach can pull me up while I'm pulling other people up. So if this gives you a better idea of something for your own coaching program, take this with you. If you feel like that you need somebody to hold your hand on this journey, I am here for you. And you can schedule a discovery call down here at the bottom. Full circle, do y'all see how we went through this whole masterclass? Everybody's pulled in deeper. It shows you I know what I'm talking about. It shows you tangibly that I do. I give you all the steps. I also care about you because I want you to succeed and thrive. I want life coaching and spiritual coaching to be an insurance billable thing. And so that's why I'm like, let's get more information to people to be able to do that, so we can all grow together. So now here's my pitch. If you want to work with me, because you see I know what I'm talking about and I can help you, and I've literally done this myself and I figure all this stuff out and I'm thriving and I'm successful, I can help you with that. So do y'all see how everything kind of just worked together? Cool. Now we're gonna go to the last bit of this here. All right. Creating a chain link. Yep. You see how like full circle everything. Oh, thank you, Lucy. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I look forward to one day we can work together. You're magical. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone is here magical. I'm very proud of everyone for showing up, for whoever watches this in the future, because you are investing in yourself. Even if I am not the one to help you or support you, you're doing that for yourself. Like sometimes you're in a space where you got to figure things out by yourself. And I get that. That's why I'm offering this masterclass, because that was me too. And I'm giving back and saying like, I was here and it was exhausting. So let me give you what I got. So you don't have to do all that. All right. So we're going to get into the last couple slides here. Life as a full-time coach. This is a quote that I found the other day that I really enjoy. And I know it's hard to see, but being a leader doesn't mean you have followers. It means you go first. That really resonates deeply with me. That's really what I'm doing here. Of like, I am so happy that I am able to help people like with a coaching program if I can. But I wanted to put this masterclass together because I know what it's like. I know how frustrating it is and how much time and energy it takes, and you're just trying to do everything that you can to get to a level of success where you can do this full time. And so there have been so many mentors of mine that have been on the same journey and they just figured it out with nobody's help. And I don't mean nobody, there's been a lot of people that helped me, but this is my way to go back and say, like, I did it, here you go. And so think of yourself like that with people too, of like, you're going to have to be the one sometimes to go first so that you can help other people figure it out quicker. That's ultimately what we're doing. That's why we're doing it in the first place. Of like, I've been here, I've experienced this. This is the tools that I learned. Maybe it doesn't have to take you as long to do it because now we know. And that's how we raise consciousness, right? Okay, one moment. All right. You will go through lessons to teach others. Anytime that I have wanted to teach somebody about something, I get smacked in the face with that first. Or if you teach about something and you haven't gone through that lesson, this is what I go back to: practice what you preach. The universe and your guides and your higher self will be like, okay, you want to teach about this? Well, here you go. Like, it's like, it happens every single time. And I'm not trying to say that's like a negative thing because it's good. But when I say being a leader and you go first, that's literally what happens. And that's why I don't really batch a whole lot of content, because the way that I do things is I make content based on like what I'm experiencing right now or what I just went through. But I will guarantee you, if you want to teach about something that you need some more experience on, your guides will bring it to you. So just be prepared for that. Okay. Like, if you want to be a manifestation coach and you want to teach people about that, your guides will bring you some experiences that will put you through it. And so you understand, because experience is the best teacher. So just be prepared. Okay. That has happened over and over again. I'm like, why am I experiencing this right now? And it's like, oh, because I was meant to teach other people and help other people with it. That's why. Okay. Help people that are a few steps back. You will always be brought people that are a couple steps back than you. Always. You go through those experiences and they're like, okay, I figured it out. Here we are. And that pushes you to the next level. That's why I don't really help people now that are on like the beginning stages of their spiritual awakening journey. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just wherever you're at. I don't really help people on that level anymore because it's too far back now. It's way too far back. I'm not on that consciousness level. I'm not on that perceptual abilities anymore. Like, I can't really go far back to teach somebody what chakras are. Like, I cannot spend all of my time because that's not what I'm into right now. And so it's too far of a frequency jump to go that far back, if that makes sense. So it's always people that are right here. And that hurts sometimes. It hurts to let go of a whole group of people, because that's what you've gotten used to. And that's what you've gotten used to talking about. And you up level your skills. And it's scary sometimes, because when you're ready to go up to the next level, it's like, oh, well, now I'm a novice again. I'm a novice here. I'm a baby. I've got to like relearn everything at this new skill level. And that's scary. And I've had that happen like 10, 15, 20 times, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Let me just keep doing what I'm doing. And they're like, how long are you going to do that? But you feel guilt over it because you're like, I don't want them to feel like they're not supported. The thing is, there is somebody to come in and do that, though. It's the people that you helped in the beginning move up. Now you're up. Let those people help them. You see what I mean? That's what I meant. Like, we move up and start helping with different things. There are people that can help. Let them do that. You move up into your next level. Like, when I was helping people more in like their individual and their spiritual awakening journeys, right? There's a time where I had to let that go. And I say, okay, well, I'm really meant to help coaches and healers that want to move part-time to full-time, what I'm doing right now. And it kind of hurt me to have to let go of that group of people. And it was scary because I'm like, who am I to teach this? Do I have enough to offer? Am I enough? But you'll never get there unless you jump. So that's what I'm doing here. Full circle. Okay, this is where I have to take a 5 or 10 minute pause. So I'm gonna pause, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. And if y'all want to talk amongst yourselves, I'm going to mute on my side, but it's not recording, and y'all can chat it up if you'd like. Thank you everybody for pausing for me momentarily. My son's father had to bring those groceries in for my son because he cannot go to the store with 102.10. Okay, and he's okay. He is resting. I'm gonna check the chat really quick before I hit resume. And then we'll get back going. Okay. Okay. Definitely true, but what do you do when they regress? Yes, the sum of 5 people, and if they aren't trying to improve, if anyone has suggestions. That's what I mean too with not everybody is meant to be your client. Because some people will go back to old behavioral patterns and triggers, and then some people like are not going to do the work. They want you to transmute and do things for you, and that's a hard lesson I had to learn of just like I was in my lack mentality of I could just take anybody that would pay me. I don't do that now. And that's no like fault to anyone. Okay. You have to check where people, even with my individual readings, you got to check where people are at, because not everybody is really ready to do the work. I cannot do the work for you. You have to do the work. Otherwise, it's not going to fundamentally set in, and you're just going to have it all come back up again. So that's what these discovery calls are for, is I need to figure out where you're at and if I'm the person for you, right? All right. Yeah, he's okay. He got his medicine. He'll be all right. We're keeping it down with the ibuprofen and the Tylenol, so it is okay. And he's 11 too, so it's not a baby. Even though 1 or 2 is still a lot, but that's a long story of when he was a baby. We had this real big scary thing happen. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna hit record again, and then we'll get back. And thank you all for pausing with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. This is where life comes up. You just gotta roll roll with it. So we've got like 15 minutes left, okay? All right, everybody. Thank you for pausing for me for a moment. Okay, so help people a few steps back, and in the chat we mentioned when I was looking before we got back on that sometimes you have people that don't want to do the work or aren't ready to do the work. This is why discovery calls for your coaching program are so important, and you doing a review with people, because you cannot transmute things for people. They have to be ready to do those things. Like, you are a guide, you're a mentor, you're a mirror back, but unless they learn the lessons themselves and are ready to do what you're teaching them and guiding them with, you cannot do it for them. And that's something that I learned too. Like, I would like over coach people. We are guiding and mentoring and figuring out together and learning and growing together. I am not breaking it down for you extremely step by step, because then I'm taking away from your power, and I'm interjecting and saying like, you can't do it yourself. Okay. Even with the coaching program or the sessions, individual sessions, you are leading somebody, but you're not doing it for them. You are helping them realize their tools and what they're capable of, and helping be a backboard, but you are not doing for. Those are 2 completely different things. And if you are doing for, you will exhaust yourself and you will feel resentment, because you're not up-leveling your skills. You are just doing for. There's a difference between somebody like a teacher doing it for a child, like a math problem, and there's a different of like a teacher like guiding the child, like, here, let me help you a little bit, and then let me see what you can do. Let me help you with this step, but then you need to show me, like, we're trying to do the rest of it. Right? But it's more about like structures and encouragement and giving people tools that they didn't have before, or resources before, giving them a different perspective, helping them open their awareness. And some of it is like healing. Like, when I help people like expand their light bodies or open up their channels, like, I am going into your energy body, and I am like having conversations with your inner child and your higher self, and to help you transmute and heal. But that's really a mirror to whatever that person's ready to let me help them with. Like, I'm mirroring to you back you. Like, I'm a channel and I'm a guide, but it's really that person, and you're there as a support, encouragement. Here's some tools you didn't know about. and let's look at everything from an outsider perspective so you can see it more clearly, and to keep as like an accountability partner, right? Do you see how that's different than just like, let me give you all the answers? Like if you're having a coaching program, you don't need to tell people answers necessarily. Like sometimes you do, but you need to get them to come up with their own conclusions and then give them a different perspective. Like if you just tell them everything, that's not teaching them how to be self-aware. It's not teaching them how to go within self and find answers. It's not teaching them how to do self-discovery, because there's going to be a time where they don't have you. Somebody works with me for 3 months, great. But then what about after that? Like, I would love to keep working with them. Like, that's great. But I also want them to be to a point where if we don't work together after 3 months, they can go on a self-discovery journey, because now they have the tools and the levels of understanding and the new perceptions that they'll be all right for however long until they go to a new consciousness level. Like that's the ultimate goal. We're not trying to have people just like constantly coming back all the time. Now, can you work with somebody for a year? Yes, but then there needs to be noticeable, like, that person is really deeply understanding what you're saying and taking it and rolling with it, and you see these big changes. That's different. But if we're having somebody that's relying on us to give them all the answers and figure things out, that's not really helping that person. Okay. Tools, perspective, and your own discovery. Yes. Showing them how to use the tools. They need to be able to access the answers themselves as well. Yes, we are empowering people to feel empowered within themselves. You are not the healer for everyone. You are not an expert in everything. Sometimes your frequency doesn't match with people. Sometimes your belief systems don't match with each other. And I'm not saying that you need to have a copycat version of you that you're helping, but you're not meant to help everybody. Just like on your own individual journey, y'all know when people come up to you and they want you to put an energetic band-aid on something, but then like your empath and light worker and savior complex kicks in and you're like, let me tell you how to fix your life. Not fix your life, but let me tell you how to optimize your life, because I see all these behavioral patterns and I see all these triggers and I know your inner child is hurt. And then you tell them all that stuff and it makes them feel temporarily better, but it kind of went like this. Maybe you're not for that person. Maybe their soul contract that they signed up for, maybe that's where they're at. And maybe you're not the person that's supposed to help them. So I tell everybody, before you help somebody, ask their higher self. Ask their higher self, am I the person to help them? Are they going to take what I say and utilize it? Is this going to be a mutually beneficial relationship? Because I've had client discovery calls where I'm like, I'm not the person. Either I don't know enough about what you want me to help you with, and maybe I can point you to somebody else, but I'm not like, if you have something going on, like let's say something mentally, okay, or you've been through like a trauma experience that I haven't really like been through myself, I'm not for you. Let me point you to somebody, or I'm just going to tell you I don't have enough information on that. But then that creates enough time and space for you to help people who you are meant to help. But ask that person's higher self first. Or if you see that you're not going to be a fit, don't sign somebody, because you'll end up resenting the situation. And everything's a learning curve. I'm not saying that won't happen, but really take a minute to say, is this person really for me, and am I for them? All right. You have your own unique way of healing. This is something that I really tripped me up in the beginning, was like seeing other people and the way that they do things and trying to emulate what they're doing. When I was reading Akashic Records very specifically, I was like trying to do it like other people and it wasn't working really well. Or when I was trying to do Reiki, I was trying to do it like other people and it wasn't working very well. And it's been like literally any modality I've gone into, coaching, anything, And it's because I blend everything together into my own modality. Like when I do coaching programs or individual sessions with people, it's Akashic Records, soul contract, reading, light language, coaching, trauma healing. Like I take a little bit of everything that I have learned and then put it in one thing. So when I used to go on people's websites, I would be like, oh, well, they're tailoring this to something very specifically, and I would try and do what they're doing. It doesn't work. You're not meant to heal someone the same way somebody else is healing someone. So if you take, like, even this, don't take this as your exact blueprint. You have to take what works for you and then do your own thing, because you are an individual, unique being with your own spiritual gifts and abilities. You cannot copycat what I do. You can look at it and say like, oh, I learned something new and like this is really beneficial in this, but maybe not this. Maybe this is not for me. Well, then don't do that. Like that's not for you. Speaking with other person's higher self, asking permission. Okay, discovery call outline, leave flexibility. So when we're talking about copycatting, and this might go until 1 o'clock, I apologize. It's just it's a lot of information. So discovery call, when I used to try and figure out how to do discovery calls, I would look at other people's like life coaching scripts, and then I would overanalyze, and then I would try and make it very structured, and it wouldn't work because I'm a very this is where this is where life coaching and energy healing and being a spiritual coach is a little bit different, because life coaching isn't as necessarily as intuitive all the time. And we're using like clear abilities and perceiving things on different dimensions and frequencies. And so, in talking to people's inner child and higher self. So if you look up life coaching videos outside of spirituality, which I still look at, but you look at them, they have specific scripts that they follow, because it's very like specific tangible outcomes. But with this, you have to leave a lot of flexibility, because you're picking up on psychic grid things and in the collective. And so you have to have that flexibility. You cannot have necessarily like a script that you work off of. And when I tried to do that, it didn't work. And I'm not saying it won't work for you, but what I do in discovery calls is right when I set expectations right out the gate, I get on the phone with someone and I say, hey, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for meeting me today. I appreciate you taking your time and energy. I'm very excited. And then I tell them, this is how the discovery call is going to work, because people, when they get on a call, they need to know what is expected and what is the outcome of this. Otherwise, they'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. You only have 45 minutes or 30 minutes on a discovery call. You do not have time to life review somebody and every single thing that they've been through. You just don't, unless you want to do multiple calls. And so I say all that, and I say, this is how the call works. I ask you a lot of questions about your life. Then you can ask me questions. And then if we're in a fit and we feel in alignment, I'll tell you how we can work together further, or I will give you resources for your journey to take with you. Very clear. So that way they know like, hey, this is a very concise thing that we're about to have. Okay. So what I do for my discovery calls, because I'm helping people holistically, even though, you know, they have maybe one thing that they want, like, I want to have more clients. Okay, that's great. But what about all of these things that are running in the background that you don't know are affecting you? Like behavioral patterns, triggers, trauma, confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, stuff going on in your chakras, an abusive relationship you had, narcissistic parents, all this stuff. That's our job. Our job is to show them this is how it's correlated, right? So y'all see that wheel of life from the other day or wheel of life? I write down, let me get my piece of paper, because then I can see if I can help them or not, or like how much level of an understanding they have, right? I get a better viewpoint of everything that's going on. And I may not help them with all those things, but it helps me with building the program and the web. So get out a piece of paper before I get on the call and I write out parents, where their finance, like their money mindset is. I write out like what they do for hobbies, what type of romantic relationships have they been in, what type of trauma they went through in childhood, if they went through some. I write down all of those like wheel of life, like overhead topics, and break their life down in different sections. Like, what do they do for work? Where are they at on their spiritual journey? I go through initially and say, okay, where are you at here, 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 very briefly. And then if I frequency read and I feel like, okay, well, we need to dig into this a little bit deeper, then we start digging into it. And that usually like correlates to something else on the wheel. And then that correlates to something else on the wheel. And that way I bypass having to like go through a whole life review. I just get the major key points. And then at the end of the discovery call, I say, okay, here's how everything is correlated to one another. Here is something that you can take with you. Just think, I don't say that, but here is something that you can take with you in case we don't even work together. Like, here's your breakthrough moment. This is correlated to this, and this is why this is happening. So at least they know and they can work on it themselves if they need to. But people don't see how things are correlated most of the time. We are really good at behavioral patterns and recognizing those things because that's what we do as our profession. Even if you're not fully into it full time, that's what you do. And so that's our job, is to show them how all of these things are interconnected, and then tell them, okay, well, I can help with this, 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 and this, and this, and then this will be the outcome. And then I tell them, if we work together, what are your top 3 goals that you would want to do? That says a lot. If you ask somebody, what are the 3 things that you want help with the most, and what do you want from this, your goals, outcomes, that tells you a lot where that person is at, and how much work they're willing to put in, and how much work you're going to have to put in, and if you can even help them. Because like I've had somebody say like before, like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's not something that like I can help you heal the root if you have trauma with weight, but that's not a tangible goal that I want to help somebody with, because that's not my area of expertise necessarily. I can help you heal the things underneath, but if your consciousness isn't at the level where you understand how like trauma in that area is connecting those things, I'm not going to be the person for you. You need somebody else. And then at the end of the call, I say, okay, we seem like we're in alignment with one another. This is how I can help you. And then I tell them my coaching program. And if they say, oh, I don't think that I have those finances, I'm not going to bully you into it. I just don't do that. I don't have fear tactics. I don't use fear mongering. I get it. Now, is that something that you can help coach somebody on their money mindset with? And maybe you need to spend a couple minutes and be like, can you not, or are you afraid? Because those are 2 different things. Are you afraid that you won't follow through? Are you afraid that it's going to be a waste of your time and energy? Are you not believing in yourself? Very different. If somebody's like, I have $2 in my bank account, I get it. And I'm not going to tell you go get a loan. I'm not going to, because you will see that. You will see that. I just want to prepare that for everybody. And that's why I'm doing this masterclass, is you will go take webinars, you will go take whatever you take. And these coaches will tell you, they won't say it outright, but they'll say, bully that person and use manipulative tactics and say, well, you need to go take out a loan. And you need to do this. And you know, I figured it out on myself, with myself. You can too. It's just, do you want to have extra time and energy, or do you have the finances to do it? Then great. If not, fine. I offer individual sessions. Maybe that's the next thing that you do. Like, maybe you can't work with me right now on that level. Here's how I can help you in here and now. Okay, you don't have that. That's fine. Here's some resources to help you on your journey, because it's not always about you signing that person like we talked about before. People having lack mentality and being afraid of using their money and utilizing their money, because that is something you can coach somebody on and help them piece through, is different than them not having $5,000 to work with you. 2 different things. But don't bully somebody into doing that, because I'm going to tell y'all a story before I finish up here. Okay. So no copycat coaching. We're not comparing. We are looking and seeing what works for us, pulling a little bit from everywhere, but then ultimately doing our own thing. Like I go on other people's websites and see what they're doing, but I can't copycat. Scripting, that works for a lot of people. And if you want to have a script of like the general outline of what you're doing, great. People are individual souls. You cannot have a script for individual souls. You can have an outline like I was talking about of like, this is what we're going to talk about, and then have your own wheel of life situation over here to like help keep you on track, or like maybe questions you want to ask them. That's wonderful. But you can't do that. People like to a T, because people are their own individual beings and they have very different life experiences. But make an outline. That's very beneficial. Very, very beneficial. I used to try and make a script and like stick exactly to it. And then like it was just icky and yucky because then I felt like I was making somebody like a number. Does that make sense? Okay. Use your discernment. I'm going to tell you about this coach I talked to one time. Okay. And we're almost done, but I want you to take this with you. So I signed up for a discovery call with a coach one time because I had hit a wall in my business. Like sometimes you hit walls though, because you're challenging yourself, like you're ready to up level, but you've been staying in a space in life where like you shouldn't be anymore. Like you should just take the leap of faith and have more confidence, and you need to like do some more research and figure things out so you can up level. That's where I was at, but I was seeing it through the lens of I'm stuck and I can't do anything. So I reached out to this coach, and now I see why I did this on my soul contract. I reached out to this coach and we had an hour conversation, and she drug me through the dirt. I appreciate it though, because she kicked my butt in gear and she showed me where my blind spots were. But she, at the end of the call, was basically saying, if you don't pay me, you will never figure this out and you will fail. Like the whole call was like that. You will never figure this out. You cannot do it. And let me tell you something. If somebody tells me I can't do something, I sure as well do it. Like I will 1000% do it. And then I will prove it to myself. And I did. I took everything she said and I called my friends, or a couple friends, and I was crying my eyes out and I was saying, I'm done with this. I quit. I cannot do this. Like there are too many things that I have to work on and too many things to do, and it's overwhelming, and I'm done. And my friend was like, are you really going to let somebody you don't even know, that doesn't know the ins and outs of your business, tell that you can't do something? Like, look how far you've come by yourself. Like, no, we're not doing that. And I thank her every day for doing that, because she really helped me snap back and look at the picture. And now I can look back and like I realize I needed that though. Like I needed somebody to kick my butt in gear, because I had gotten very stagnant and stuck in comfortability. And that ultimately is what was happening. It was my higher self and God saying like, hey, it's time for us to move forward. It's time for us to level up. And it was me being fine where I was at, but it wasn't working anymore, because life will do that to you when you're ready to level up and you don't want to let go. But she told me, if you don't pay me or my business or my company, you will fail. And it like, yo, it was so awful. And that moment forward, I understood why I had to figure all this stuff on my own to teach this masterclass right now, and to help other coaches and healers not do that. That was, and I've had that happen several times. She's not the only one. I've had other coaches do that in discovery calls as well. And it's heartbreaking to hear that from somebody, especially somebody who you are looking up to, and they're like, you are going to fail, because they're using psychology, manipulative tactics against you. And so I was like, I don't ever want anybody to feel this way ever again. I never want to use fear tactics towards somebody. I will tell you, having a coach is very beneficial because it saves you time and energy. And it doesn't have to take you 3 years to figure things out. But I will also tell you, you can do it. And I'm living proof. You can do it. You do not need me. I can support you and save you time and energy and help you heal those traumatic things in your life. I also healed a lot of trauma myself. It took me a long time. But if you look at the grand scope, now we see why I had to do that, so I can teach other people how to not use manipulative tactics. Now I'm so grateful because I'm in a place in life where I can hire a coach. I'm out here looking for a coach now to help me, because now I'm at a point where I can leverage my finances to get somebody to help me save time and energy. But the first portion of the first 3 years, I didn't have the finances to do that, especially being a single mom and like just trying to spend all my time and energy figuring these things. Like, I just didn't have it. Now I do. Great. We love that. But don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do this stuff yourself. But that also takes, you have to really invest in yourself. Like, how much time and energy are you willing to put in? Because I will be very, I could never fully encapsulate how much research that I've had to do to figure out this web of connectivity of success. And I'm not saying this is your exact blueprint. And I have not included everything in this thing because I cannot encapsulate all this stuff in a 5-day class. This is just key points. Okay. There's also hundreds of other things that go into this. It has taken me 3 years to get where I'm at to be full-time, but you can do it. Don't let somebody fear tactic you into saying you have to pay them for something or that you're going to fail if you don't, because it's just not true. Okay, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. That was the whole point of Masterclass 2, is let me give you these tools to help you get further down your journey and kick off. And maybe that will be the key opening piece for you. But if you want to coach, I will coach you. And I will help you. When researching, find mentors who emulate yourself. You need to have people that you can look up to, that you learn and grow from, because if you have peers that are kind of like on the same level, that's great because you're all like learning and growing together, but you need new consciousness levels coming in and like ideas and ways of doing things. So like for me, I look up to like Lori Ladd, I look up to Victor Odo, I look up to like the person that we talked about before. There's so many mentors that are doing similar things that you're doing that are way further down their journey that you can learn from. It doesn't have to be necessarily like a paid coach either. Is it beneficial to have one-on-one connection with somebody that you can text and be like, hey, what about this? Yes. But you can also like do your own research and find some just spiritual teachers, coaches that you like. Christina Lopes, that's the name I was trying to think of. Christina Lopes, all these beings that are doing this, but further down, look at them and just take what resonates. But be mindful too, when you're doing that, not all their truth is going to resonate with you. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Like I used to watch a lot of people that I don't agree with all the stuff they say. Some of the stuff is great, but not my vibe. but I can still appreciate them and look to them as mentors. Okay. All right. So this is all my socials. If you want to follow me everywhere, I would appreciate it. It helps me get out to more people. This is my TikTok, Insta, YouTube, website. If you want to join the Discord, highly recommend that. It's in my link trees everywhere. Or you can click this link in the Google Slides. Discord is where all those YouTube playlists that y'all saw and all those TikToks that I saved, I pour them into the Discord. I have all these different chats for Lightworkers, Starseeds, light language, Reiki, business skills, money management, and you can chat with me one-on-one there. I used to have a Patreon and I switched to Discord because Discord is easier to have a back and forth instead of me just laterally talking to everybody. So we can actually have conversations and y'all can learn and grow from one another. Highly recommend joining that at least. As I learn and grow and up level my skills, I send resources through there like, hey, this is something that really helps me, like take this. So if you want some extra support, and my website, yes. And if y'all need anything, you can always reach out to me. I'm pretty accessible. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to get back because I'm supporting a lot of people. But you can message me on Instagram. You can email me. You have questions, you need further clarity on something, anything at all. I'm going to be sending these Google slides out to everyone as well. So you can click the links or, go back to it while you're watching the replays. So I'm going to check the chat to see if anybody has any questions or comments. And then I'm going to ask you all a question that are in here live. And if you have to go, because I know it's 1 o'clock now. EST, that's fine. Okay. Ew, that's some gross energy. That manipulation and psychology tactics make a lot of money. I'm just going to say that coach that I talked to and those coaches that I talked to run very successful coaching businesses. They do. We all know that fear makes money. Fear makes a lot of money, and people get caught in that trap. But that's not what we're trying to do. That is not unity consciousness. That is not empowering people. That is another flavor of capitalism. It's spiritual capitalism, which I'm all about making money. Okay, let me be the first to say, I love being abundant and prosperous, but not at the detriment of somebody's mental health. Okay, you can be abundant and prosperous without doing that. And this is no hate to anybody, but I know everybody in here does not want to function that way. And if we want to push life coaching and all that stuff to be a licensed thing that you can build to insurance, we don't need to do that with the foundation of icky, yucky capitalistic tendencies. Okay. But it works. It works. Unfortunately. Have to get ready for appointment. This is truly amazing. Thank you so much for teaching, guiding me. You're so welcome. I keep tapping on the screen to send likes. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. Nonetheless, all the hearts. TikTok world is very organized and easy to read. I don't know if anyone else utilizes Iolite as well. What is Iolite? If you will let me know, that'd be awesome. Okay, so for my peeps that are still in here, what is the one thing that stuck out to you today the most? Because that will help me with the second round of this, with the fine tuning, because I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take everything everybody said to me and like what y'all want to learn about, what you want to know about, and then redo. So it can be more clear and concise. Be unique and yourself. Awesome. Love that. Yes. Be yourself. Do your own thing. It's a crystal used to find your way. It was a compass used in Norway at some way. Oh, that's so cool. I'm going to write that down. I have not heard of that before. I like this. There we go. Highlight. Utilizing tools for our businesses. Awesome. All right. Okay, everyone. Well, I appreciate everybody that showed up. And if you're watching this in the replay, you covered so much. I know they were a lot longer, y'all. I always do this. I always do this. Letting clients use their own toolbox instead of you doing it. Yep. Thank you. I always do this where I'm like, okay, the class or workshop is going to be an hour, and then it ends up being an hour and a half or 2 hours. Just because I always try and fit like so much information into them. That's why I always record. So you can come back, because I should know now it's not going to be the time capsule that I originally intentionally set out for. Because I get off on tangents and like go real deep into concepts sometimes and bullet points. Like I trick myself into thinking like, this is me being vulnerable. Okay. Me trick myself into thinking like, oh, that's a bullet point. I'll spend 30 seconds to a minute on there, and then I talk 10 minutes, and then it is what it is. That's okay. So this is why I'm saying, like, even when you do workshops and events and things of that nature, you have to sometimes do something the first time, even though, like, let's say you only have like 2 or 3 people show up. Fine. Maybe that's the precursor to you having a more finely honed and clear and concise one next time. And not saying this one wasn't great. This was great with everybody. I so appreciate this and love this. But now I can take everything that I did and the responses and all of these things, and then have even more clear and concise next time. Right? So take that with what you will. Thank you from the depth of my soul. You're amazing. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate everybody here. And if you're watching this in the future, I appreciate you too, because you're showing up. You're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for the collective. You're saying, how can I better optimize what I'm doing? How can I learn and grow? How can we all raise consciousness together? Like, I appreciate you. I thank you very much, because y'all are out here doing the work. And I thank you for doing that work, because it'd be heavy sometimes. And your commitment to seeing us all move into this new level of consciousness and unity consciousness and new way of being. So thank you for you showing up. Okay. All right, everybody. Like I said, if you need to reach out for anything, let me know. You want to sign up for the coaching program with me, would love to do that with you. I can hold your hand while we figure out everything together and do some deep healing. Check out the Discord, because the Discord is where you can still keep on receiving resources along your journey as well. Everything I find that I'm like, oh, this would be very helpful, I will send it to you in the Discord. Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate everyone. And thank you about my son. I hope he feels better soon too. Having kids that aren't feeling well is a lot on you as a parent. It's a lot on them, because they're the ones that actually sick, but it's still a lot. You're like, my baby. Okay, I will see everybody later. Have a wonderful and blessed day.